Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of The Last Few Pounds. Today I would like to talk to you about the best way for you to lose body fat. Okay, I admit that the title is a little bit of a misnomer because I would argue that there is no one single best way, and some people would say, well, you need to find the way that works for you that can work forever. I don't necessarily think that's something that you have to do either. I've lost weight doing whole food plant-based, doing 5-2, doing a combination of those two things, which I'll put a video link to about here. I've lost weight doing the vegan keto approach. Of course, just pure fasting works as well. It's not long-term sustainable to do it forever, but you can invoke periodic fasting. A lot of people don't even like the concept of that though, but it does work. Over the last couple of months, I've implemented several 7-day challenges just to see if I can lose weight in 7 days. Drinking a half gallon of water worked. Cutting out fructose worked. Eating whole food plant-based worked. And there are people out there that are going to say, well, the carnivore diet is the best way for you to lose weight. Okay, the carnivore diet, I have no idea whether it can help you lose weight. I don't know about that, but I do think that it is the most irresponsible diet on the planet, not only for the animals, of course, but just environmentally. If everybody did it, there's no way that we could sustain that for very long on planet Earth. Here's my baby. She could tell I was doing a video, so... And of course, you will hear some people say you can lose weight doing a lot of different things, including snorting a bunch of cocaine. Obviously, that's not what people are looking for when they're searching for different diets that can help them lose additional body fat. But I do think that it's important to experiment. I do think it's important to see what works for you. And I do think that experimentation should involve fairly lengthy bouts of time. You're not going to be able to tell within even a single week whether something necessarily works for you. And do I think that it's important to find a long-term approach? Yeah, sure. But if part of your long-term approach includes invoking various periods of implementing different things, then that could be your overall approach. For example, for me, I tend to eat high-carb, low-fat, vegan diet. I do try to do whole food plant-based as much as possible, probably about 80 to 90% of the time. But then there are periods where I will switch it up a little bit and do vegan keto. That's a lot more challenging, especially if you travel, but it's really not that difficult if you're eating at home, preparing your own meals. And I do like to implement fasting from time to time as well. As many of you know, I do compete in fitness competitions, and so fasting is something that I implement as I'm getting closer and closer to my show date. There is nothing unhealthy about fasting. Fasting can be very healing, very cleansing. It can help with your cognition. It can literally starve out cancers that are pretty much ongoing in the body. It helped completely get rid of my chronic migraines that I had since I was 11 years old. The only time that I get migraines now, oddly, is when I start a fast. If I do like a 3 or 5-day fast, then usually the first couple of days I'll have a migraine. But it used to be that I had a migraine 3 to 4 times a week, every week for decades on end. And now, in between my fasting times, I flat out do not have migraines at all. It's pretty much been a miracle solution for me. It seems to me that whether you're trying a ketogenic diet, a high carb diet, that no matter what seems to be clear among all of the different types of research out there is that you choose a diet that eliminates as much as possible processed junk. Those who seem to have the best success on ketogenic diets, even if they're not vegan ketogenic diets, are those who are eating a lot of plants and omitting processed foods. And even researchers who put up graphs and charts about, oh, in the 70s, this is when we really started to gain weight as a country because we really increased our sugar intake, or we really increased our processed fat intake. Well, that's correlative. It's not causal necessarily. It seems that what might have very well happened was that we both increased our sugar and we kept eating high amounts of fat. But above all else, what seems to be clear is that we did seriously increase our consumption of processed foods. Again, that's just a correlation. I'm not in a lab conducting this experiment myself, but what's important to look at are the interventional trials. And so far, the only diet that I've ever come across in the literature to flat out reverse heart disease, our #1 killer in the United States, is a whole food plant-based diet without any added oils. And it seems to be the case that that also is a diet that can reduce your body fat as well. But remember, it's not your body fat that's so important. What's most important is your arterial health. So if you have not tried a whole food plant-based diet yet, I would encourage you to get on board with that and to give it some time. Whenever my clients talk to me and they're frustrated because they have plateaued on a whole food plant-based diet, it happens with every client that I have. Usually around like week 3, that tends to happen. I always say, stick with it. This worked for the first couple of weeks. Your body is adjusting. Stick with it. And what has happened every single time we've pushed through that plateau doing the exact same thing is there's a week and a half, maybe up to 2 weeks tops of a plateau, and then they start losing the extra weight again. So try it out. Give it some time. Be patient, but also just beware when you hear claims about certain diets being really good for fat loss, that it's also the type of diet that can be good for your arteries as well, because fitting into a smaller coffin is not the goal. Please give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment or question below. If you want to email me about possible one-on-one nutritional coaching, that's fine. I have my email in the description box below. And if you haven't already subscribed yet, please feel free to do that now, and don't forget to hit the little bell so that you don't miss any of my future challenges that I plan on doing. Thanks everybody, I really appreciate the love, and until next time, ciao. I'm gonna put you down now, okay?